que cuyir, nare, miite, atiniir. Sukui bal Oolarom. Hello and welcome to Mando'a for Decoding. I'm Anubis. I have been studying and working with Mando'a for about 10 years now. I'm a hobbyist linguist. I'm one of the contributors behind the Mando'a expansion project, where you can find the latest and greatest dictionary for Mando'a on mandocreator.com. And today, which is just like every other day, I'm joined with
Werent, Oolarom. So, Wode, it has been some wild days. As always, I want to put out the disclaimer that I am not really a hobbyist linguist, but I really want to learn Mando'a. And that's why Anu has to teach me, and hopefully all of you.
You can, as always, find all new vocabulary and a link to the dictionary in the description.
So, we have been up to a lot the last week, or the other week before that. Whatever. Something like that. Time flies. Recently, yeah. So, also, as always, if you want to support this project, feel free to follow our Patreon, probably even become a member. No pressure.
That would be Kandosila.
So, we have visited, or have been a part of even Comic-Con Dornbirn in Austria, like a week ago. That was quite a fun time.
It was a good time. Yeah, it was a good
absolutely.
time. As we say in German, klein aber fein, small but quite nice.
Yeah. So it was really a good time because you really had the time to interact with the other groups there. What was really a pleasure. We were there with our costuming clan from the Mando'mercs, the Chegala clan, and I think it's not a stretch to say we really put a super immersive booth together this time.
Yeah,
it really got good feedback on that one. Also, your favorite. Sorry, you go.
Yeah, we actually had several other Star Wars costumers coming by wanting to take pictures in our booth because it looked so cool. It was awesome.
That was really something, yeah. But what I wanted to get at is your favorite Decoding actually were on stage there. We did a little live panel, a little Mando'a crash course, and also we did all kinds of Mando'a shenanigans. So we sang with a what of us, the Nasat Gurmi, and also the Vodean. So these videos can be found on our YouTube. So, but I gonna warn you, what we lacked in harmony, we made up in volume. So no guarantee for your ears there.
Yeah, it was special. We'll just say that. And, it's typically a drinking song, so we're just saying that. Yeah, we were already a few netragale in on that one before we decided to sing. Whether we were or not, we certainly sounded the part.
yeah, just perfect roleplay there. No, for real. Little fun fact that I found out while researching for our Patreons. I'm always writing up a little article about every episode that we do and some background information. But something I wanted to share with you all was I found out that Karen Travis just blatantly reused the slogan of a beer brand, Mackeson Triple Stout, for the Netragal phrase. Because the original phrase was just looks good, tastes good, does you good.
Yep. So she basically just straight up ripped that one into Mando'a and said, yeah, good enough, which, yeah, it works.
It's not. It's
But-
not bad. I thought it was just super funny. That's a
Yeah.
nice bit of trivia there for Yao.
Yeah, and then that also helps you know if you want to go try Netragal, which one she was probably referencing as Netragal. That would probably be Macusson. I haven't actually had that one. I'm interested to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that, but just have to see how you get our hands on that because it's not really on the German market, I fear. But yeah,
I
there's
think
that.
it might be British only.
Even American,
Yeah, maybe. Probably so.
because I think I read something about American brewery having the rights to it, but could be wrong there.
Maybe so.
So
Someday. We'll let you know how it tastes.
yeah, someday.
Or maybe you can let us know in the comments, please. If
Yeah.
somebody listening has tried it, I'm interested.
If you
So-
could hook us up, even
Even
let us
better.
know.
Even better.
Yeah, but for real. On a different note, on another note, we made something to give away on conventions for the little panel we had in general. So there is a little itsy bitsy common terms dictionary flyer, basically. So with the most useful words and phrases in it, and also got a little editorial about what we do and a QR code on it. So if you see us on a convention, say hi, and maybe if we have it handy, you can get one. And also, I think we're gonna make that a download on our Patreon. So one more bonus there. Anyways, before I start to tell you all my life history, Anu, you wanna repeat our intro sentence for a second here?
Sure. Yeah, let's go over that a little bit and kind of get into the meat and potatoes of our Mando'a today.
Chop.
So the intro sentence. Que cuyir nare bal'mite bal'katini. This is actually, if you have browsed around the internet, you may have seen this. This is I would say it's not really a proverb. It's more of a admonishment, a fancy high dollar word for you there. It's a kind of like a how to be mando'karla. You know what is expected of Mandalorians in the Mandalorian culture in just everyday interaction. And so let's go over what this means. Cuyir. Right off the bat, this is not just a command like, hey, you should do this. This is a direct order. Like you are fully expected to follow this because we have the ke prefix, which makes the order, and then we have cuyir, unconjugated, not dropped, cuyir, which means that it is a strong order. This is very emphasized here. So ke cuyir, you should do this. You should exist as this, as an order.
So basically,
Nare bal'mite. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. Your part.
So basically, if it's not conjugated, it's like super serious.
Yeah.
Like-
if you
like
conjugate
as-
the verb, then you're like, you can do it if you want. If you don't conjugate the verb with an order, you better do it.
Yeah, dang it, like Jar Jar would say, use it in big doo-doo. If you don't listen to that.
Yep, exactly. So kekuyir, and there is a dropped word here that isn't in the phrase that can be understood because you're talking to someone when you're giving them an order. So in this case, gar is dropped because you're talking to you. It's pretty obvious. Hey, I'm talking to you, giving you an order. But in this case, gar is pulling double duty because the words that come up next, nare bal'mite, actions and words. So the dropped gar here would also be possessive. What this means is that you must be your actions and words. You should exist as your actions and words. So don't be deceptive. Don't be sneaky. Don't use double talk trying to, use words creatively to weasel out of accountability. Own your actions, own your words, be them, exist as them. That's who you are. You are mando'karla. It's your defining, those are the things that define you. And the last part here, bal'katini. So katini is one of my favorite little phrases, I guess you could say. It's a command that means it's literally means to endure, commanding you to endure, like to survive something, to put up with something, to suffer through it. It's usually used as encouragement, like, hey, you can do this, you can make it, just push through a little harder. When you're on that last set of a workout and your spotter says katini, they're telling you, you got a little more strength left in you, you can do it, just push through. So in this case, it's saying, be your words and your actions and endure. Be tenacious.
Be tenacious, yeah. Kind of reminds me of, cross-reference there again from Decoding Ibic, but if you guys ever have read Terry Pratchett, the goblins there have the phrase endure.
Endure. Same thing. Yeah. That's it. Katini.
Yeah. Funny.
I've used that one with my Adik quite a lot whenever she's having a rough time, and I'm just like, Katini, you can do it.
Nice. Yeah. No. Yeah. That just reminds me, just putting it out there, at some point we need to have so the verdict is, or the overall translation is, be your words and actions and be tenacious. So basically have integrity and don't be easily deterred from something. Yeah.
Exactly.
And as I kind of hinted at with the flyer thing, so there are some common terms, and many of them we already used. We noticed creating that flyer and also preparing our panel at the con that we didn't explain some of them so far, and we want to remedy this. So we have compiled a little list of what you guys might need and what is fun to use also.
Want me to just go through them, or maybe we can take turns, tag team it?
Elek. You see what I did there.
Bal'ban. Yeah. So elek, or just lek, if you're being a little casual with it, is just yes.
Yes or yeah.
Yep.
And the one, the one Anu just replied with bal'ban is something that's super frequently used because it just rolls so well off the tongue, and it's just indeed.
Yeah, that one, I use it a lot more online, in online chats, whenever I just want to agree with something someone said. Bal'ban. Yeah, it's actually usually a little more emphatic in Mando'a than indeed, I would say. Like, it's strong agreement, with something that someone just said, basically. But yeah, good way to translate it.
Really common phrase we did not use so far, maybe just because we don't have a full conversation in Mando'a here, would be mevartigar. And that is basically what you reply when someone is coming up to you and say, hey, sukuigar what? So, you're still alive. And then you say, sukui and mevartigar. So what's new with you?
And this is usually taken quite literally. It's, mevartigar, tell me what's new in your life. What's new since we last talked? Let's catch up. I really am interested in whatever new is going on in your life.
Yeah, so, spill the tea.
Generally, Mandalorian saying this doesn't want to hear Naas, which you can just reply with Naas, which just means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if you just met the other day or like earlier today, it would just be like a phrase there, like Naas. But like, if you're using that like genuinely and not just as a phrase, an answer is expected.
Right. If it's been like 5 years and you say Naas, they're gonna be like, really? You like nothing has happened in 5 years? What's wrong with you? That sounds like arasuum to me,
Yeah.
stagnation,
Yeah.
which is really to be avoided for
Nu
Mandalorians.
mandokala. Not the right
Exactly.
stuff there.
So getting more into like responses and such that you can give. We had yes, of course, the opposite being neish, which I think we've mentioned, but we never actually defined. But
I think so, yeah. Neish is so
kind of
funny.
makes sense.
I think Neish is so funny because it just seems to be like a mix up of all the different no's you have there.
Yeah, neish. It feels nice to say. Honestly, I like it. The other things that come up a lot in response, and this is a good one. This is a good one to use as almost not quite an apology, but a lot of the times when we say like, oh yeah, sorry, or excuse me, or something in English, or even most natural languages, a Mandalorian would instead probably say Suvari, or maybe even Jorlik, which Suvari is to understand. It's the conjugated verb suvarir, which is to understand. So if you just say Suvari, it means I understand.
Got it.
So if somebody's coming at you like, "Hey, man, you just bumped my car. I'm upset about this," then Mandalorian might just say, "Yeah, Suvari, I understand you're upset."
So what you wanted to do me about?
Yeah, what's the action that's involved here? Yeah, okay, I understand. You got a problem. What are we doing about it? And then the other one I mentioned there, Jorlik, is that's affirmative. That one's usually more in like a military kind of sense, but yeah, affirmative, or this is a confirmation of some order or something. But if you want to be a little fancy, then maybe you can throw out a Jorlik whenever somebody tells you something that's like a yes or no.
Yeah, I think probably more when it's could also say when it's like more imperative, like with the K, for example. So if I
exactly
say to you, yeah, go do this, then you say, yeah, okay, affirmative, and not just yes.
Yeah,
Jorlik. Yeah. Probably that makes sense. So one that's also kind of important and we did not really use in the podcast so far, but I use that a lot in written form, is so we explained to you all that like what is like for brothers, sisters, or really close friends and like battle brothers, so to say, or sisters. That's just for really close friends. Burshia would be the more general one there. So that just means friend. And the funny thing is you also can use it kind of sarcastically. So if someone gets on your nerve and you just add a Burshia, then it's clear that he is indeed not a friend of yours.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's that
So,
kind of
hey, listen,
that kind
pal.
of tone. Yeah, exactly. So, and there's we've talked about how to say thank you, and I think we mentioned a little bit about how to say kind of you're welcome, like agadetje and that sort of thing. So I know we've talked about vor for you're welcome, which is short for vor intie, which is literally I accept the debt.
Yeah.
But of course, that's kind of a strong way to say thank you. And so a lot of the time, things aren't really that big of a deal. So you might just say, kiparjai, which means small victory. Yeah, no, not a big deal. Don't mention
it's
it.
basically the Mandalorian, no biggie.
Yeah, no big deal. Or no problem, maybe. Yeah. And the kind of maybe more formal way to say you're welcome would be bagadetje, which is also kind of along the same lines of saying, you don't really owe me anything for this, but it's more of like a it was a pleasing thing to help you here, is sort of the way to think about it.
Yeah, you are welcome, basically.
Almost directly, yeah.
Yeah, the complete other way around, when it's not just kiparjai or a little, I understand. So if you really messed up, you are forgiven or want forgiveness. You would say niseta, which so it's like a begrudgingly I kneel. Like if you don't want to apologize, but you know you have to, basically.
This one is actually like, it's really, really strong. So this is one that I would say gets misused a lot because we see people, just look up how to say sorry in the dictionary, so they type in sorry and they see niseta, and so they then start throwing out niseta for, oh, I have a typo in my sentence. No, this is not when you use niseta. Niseta is like, I accidentally shot your dog while I'm practicing with my blaster. Like, this is, I have caused you grave injury and I need your forgiveness. So
that one just killed
me. Yeah, basically, don't throw out niseta willy nilly. Yeah, it's you're literally saying, I am throwing myself at under your boots. I'm at your mercy. I'm groveling for your forgiveness. Don't you don't need to throw yourself on people's mercy for every little thing. So
yeah, I'm really thinking if we have something similar in English, but I can't make something up right now. We do have
I think in English and maybe even in German, you really have to like have a full phrase to be able to express the same level.
That was just what I was thinking about.
Uniquely Mandalorian. Let's just go with that for now.
I love it. I mean, that's what made it so interesting for me in the first place when you want to learn it, because it has some really, like, you could almost say that's like an idiom, right?
Yeah, kind of. Because I would think if there are, I would think if there are natural languages that have something like this, it would probably be Japanese or Chinese or one of the Asian languages, because they usually have varying degrees of apology and offense and what's expected in terms of how to apologize. So I would think that they probably would have something similar.
I see. Yeah, it's just
anybody that knows one of those languages in the comments wants to enlighten us there. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So like, never can know enough or too much language stuff. Really.
Yeah,
it's always interesting.
Yeah, as you know, I'm the language nerd, the hobbyist linguist. So I'm always sucking up random parts of other languages, and adding it to my brain for no reason.
Like using up memory capacity there. Yeah, I feel you.
Yep.
The same for me with random like pop culture facts, but yeah.
So it goes.
Yeah. So we have an elephant in the room that we used like several times. I also have added it several times to the description vocabulary, but we never have gone over it actually so far. And is of course, we don't actually do that here. Ibic, haar, yust.
Ibic, haar, yust. Yeah, our least favorite phrase. So yeah, this is one. Yeah, like you said, we've talked about it, we've mentioned it several times, but we never actually broke down the words in it. So let's talk about what those words mean. Ibic is quite easy. It's just this. Ibic means this. There is the kind of alternate there, this and that. So you have Ibic and Ibak, which is that. There are really no difference in how these are used versus English, I would say. It's pretty similar in the way that these work out in Mando'a, but be a little bit careful when doing your translating if you throw out an ibak, because English uses the word that in a lot of ways that Mando'a does not use ibak. So, little aside there. Now let's get back to ibic haar yust. So, ibic, this, easy. Haar, this is where it gets a little interesting. So, haar is an unusual word that doesn't get used very often in Mando'a. The linguistic term is the definite article, a substantive article, I think is the way that it's described in linguistics. And what this means is like when you want to say that something is the thing, like emphasis on the the. Like if someone came up to you and said, "Hi, my name is George Lucas," and you were like, "Wait, the George Lucas?" That the right there is exactly haar, because you're talking about not just the regular old the cat, the dog, whatever. It's not the regular the, it's something very specific. This is the thing, the one and only. And so that's where we use haar here, because we're talking about the way. This is the way, big capital W way, not just any old way. This isn't the way to go to the bathroom, this is the way. So haar,
the way of the
here is-
Mandalore.
Oh yeah. And then we get back to the normal stuff with yust, which is just path or way or whatever, route. And it can be physical or metaphorical, as it is in this case. Ibic haar yust.
So, and as we have disclaimed many times, if you're gonna say it right. Use the Mando'a version.
Yep. And the reason why we don't say it too much, because that's the whole culty thing, and we don't really want to do that.
We don't do that here. We're proper Mando'ade. We don't grew up in a basement.
That's right.
So, okay. What else did we have? Or was that already everything? I'm not sure. Wait a second. I have to get back in the notes. Oh, yeah. One important one we have. One important one. And this one is where I actually can use niseta, atiniir, because we really have not used a super important word so far. And I'm sure like most of you guys listening know it, but you never know. And if you're new to the whole Mando'a and Mando thing, it's something super important, and it's also a shame that it didn't get used in the Disney canon so far. It's Oya. So what?
Yeah,
like that's what does Oya mean? So I think it kind of sounds similar.
Sorry.
Yeah, all good. I think every one of us was thinking that at first. But Oya, basically, I think the most common translation spin on it that I have seen was let's hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really,
kind of also has like a kind of the ura, like
exactly
the
like,
Marines vibe. Exactly.
Spartans, what is your business?
Yeah.
Arr. So like, kind of that thing. Yeah,
exactly.
So, but really, as we already hinted with that, it's your general purpose, supportive, or like, so it's kind of your supportive or excited outcry. So we, in our clan, use it as our battle cry. So that was also the thing you have seen or have heard with the little recap from Milan. Yeah, so we could just go Mando'ade, Mandalorians, and 3 times Oya. And it's super cool because it has oomph, it is super short, and a thing that I also like, speaking of phrases and things to use to support each other, kind of in the direction like katiniir is Koyashi.
Koyashi.
Yashi. I'm sorry. Koyashi.
Yeah, all good. Yeah. The CYs, YCs, they get confusing in Mando'a. Ultimately, there's the only reason that they're in there is because they look cool. So no worries. Koyashi is also a really good one, and it's a good one when you want to be supportive of someone that's maybe going through a rough time, or about to go into a rough time. Maybe somebody is about to go take a hard test or something, and you want to be supportive, but maybe a little sarcastic at the same time. You can say "koyashi," which literally means "stay alive."
Yeah.
I'm commanding you to stay alive, live,
Don't
survive.
don't leave us. Like, yeah, stay with us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
you can think of it like hang in there, or come back safe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, in a more colloquial sense, it's probably hang in there. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
So, but that one's also nice. So, one funny thing that just came back to me while we were talking about that, like one thing we did at the last con was we took a picture and tried to kind of recreate the famous like soldier image with "he's not heavy, he's my brother," with carrying a wounded comrade on your back, right? Like a wounded battle brother. And I wanted to make that into a Mando'a sentence. And yeah, that was one of the examples where we had to work around it. Why I'm bringing that up? Because when people can figure something out in Mando'a, I heard several times that they tried to use the AI. Like, doesn't matter which one. And let's just say, don't. And not for the reasons you might think. Like, you can think about AI what you want. We're not here to dictate you what you have to think about that. But when it comes to language, and especially like a conling, the problem is it's a large language model, which means it learns from language patterns that it comes across. Written language, that is. So guess what? There is not a lot of written language of. It's stuff like Mando'a. So what happens, because the AI has to deliver you an answer, it starts to make absolute BS up. Like, holy cow.
Complete OSIC, just straight out of nowhere.
So earlier today, a friend of mine like wanted to say, "Let's ride into battle." So there's not a word for ride. That's another problem, but that's not where it falls short.
Interestingly, yes.
That's not where it falls short. So what the AI came up with was atiniir, which would basically be child, never, and with a lot of goodwill, you could say future. But already that is kind of iffy. Because, Anu, you want to explain what the problem with that one is?
Yeah, it's like it tried to stick a verb ending onto the "ven" prefix, which obviously doesn't work, and create a new word just out of thin air. Why not?
Yeah, just be acid, basically. Yeah. So
yeah.
So please, if you wanna look up something, use the Mando'a dictionary, or if need be, any other like fan resource, but don't use Lingo Jam or the AI or any other translator.
Yeah, Lingo Jam is almost as bad as any of the AI sources, because I don't exactly know where it came up, where the various Lingo Jam translators came up with their word dictionaries, but there are a whole lot of things that are just completely random words thrown in there that I've either never seen before or I've seen in other languages that are not Mando'a. I think I've seen one pull out Klingon words at one point.
Yeah, that was the book, Anu. That was the book.
Oh no, that book did that, but also I've seen some Lingo Jam translators do that as well.
Yeah, but then it had
Maybe
that out of the book.
Came from. Yeah.
So if you're asking yourself what the book is, we're probably gonna rent in a separate.
We're not even gonna say its name. It's not worthy of being named on this podcast.
Long story short, some guy tried to scam Mando fans with making OSIC up. Like, really, just went fully overboard and even included like Klingon word in that book and tried to sell it to the fans.
Really disgusting stuff in there.
Yeah, and if you claim
the guy still lists it on his page as the number one source for Mando'a.
That's what I wanted to say. If you list your own stuff as the number one source, that already shows how self-indulged you are. So keep your hands off it.
Right. And you have to buy it to get access to it. That guy's a grifter.
Yes.
Anyways, before we get too far off on that subject.
That makes us really sigh. What brings us to our...
Yes. The things that make you go, people using Mando'a AI, people using LingoJam, people trying to grift other people with Mando'a, and maybe we could also say people jamming words together using the Beten as glue. So the word of the week is Beten, which is to sigh, to sigh. And that also brings to mind, of course, the Beten itself, which is the little apostrophe that we promised in a previous episode we would talk about. It literally means sigh, Beten, and that's kind of where it came from, as well as the little taking a little breath, a little pause in the middle of a word, the glottal stop, which it doesn't always act as a glottal stop, but it does in many cases. So let's
Anu, I have a question.
About it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you fight in the Beten Wars?
Yes, I was on the front lines the whole time. I still relive those days in my dark hours. When I close my eyes, I see apostrophes flying. Word parts mangled and squished together. So let me just quickly pull up a resource that we will for sure have linked in our Patreon on this episode. Yeah, this is what is called the Beten Guide, and this is a fairly short document that, despite being so short, it took, I think, almost a year of debate between the language development team before we finally settled on a definitive guide on how to use the Beten. So to spare all of you from all of the gory details of the Beten Wars and the debates that led to this, we'll just have this short guide to tell you about what the Beten is, how it works, when you use it, and so on and so forth. Nice and short. And my favorite part about this guide is under the usage heading. When to use the Beten is typically governed by one of the following rules. Rule number 1. Don't. It's so great. So yeah, generally speaking, when you are putting words together, or when you're, say, trying to negate a verb, like, whatever, nare, don't do, so don't act, whatever. Whenever you're trying to put a little thing in front of a verb, a lot of people want to stick it to that verb with a Beten. You don't have to do that. You don't have to stick words together. You can just have it separate. It's fine. It's all good. You don't have to do it. Also, when it comes to compound words, words that are made up of two other words kind of mushed together, if there are no letters that are cut off, there's nothing other than these two words just happen to be closer together than usual, you don't have to use the Beten. Just don't do it. It's fine. You don't need the Beten. No unnecessary Beten sprinkled everywhere, please. So, when do you use it? Let's talk about that. A big place where it shows up a lot is when you have vowels, so A, E, I, O, U, that sort of thing. When you have vowels that have been, for whatever reason, cut out of the word. A lot of the time, this is when words are squished together, or words that have been used a lot over history, supposedly, have kind of become shortened over time, and this vowel, which may have been something much more at one point in time, is now just kind of a brief sound, or a sigh, a brief little before you continue the word. And so the vowel gets skipped over. And where we see this is in words like karta, which is heart. And you can hear it in Bodeon, actually, where they actually sing it out as karota. And you might be thinking, what is karota? And you try to type that in. No, it's not there. It's karta, but they were using this ancient form where there's an actual vowel there that has now gone away. It's just karta. You also have kumurk, the gauntlet, the word for gauntlet. And there, the Beten, actually, you hear it. The kumurk. Yeah, it's just like a little dummy vowel that stands in the gap there. That's when you know that it's the Beten is pronounced. Really, is if you look at a word and you say, "How in the world would you even pronounce that?" There's no vowel there. Pretty good chance that the Beten there is either just silent or it's a little dummy vowel like that in kumurk. In linguistics terms, we would call this the schwa. It's the laziest vowel that you can produce. When you just hang your mouth open and you go, that's schwa.
Okay, the schwa.
Yeah, a little dummy vowel, a little sigh vowel. That's one place where you use the Beten. Compound words. Okay, so I talked about compound words where you don't need it, but when you are looking at a word that is, I would say, more than the sum of its parts, right? You have two compound words or compound parts that come together to make a different word, but this different word doesn't just mean these two words together. It's its own word, even though it's clear that it's made up of a couple different words. A good example of this is jatekara, which literally means good stars, right? But when you have it joined together with the Beten, jatekara is luck. It's like luck or destiny, right? So it means something more than just good stars. It has its own meaning. This is now a compound word that is separate from the two words that it came. You can also look at something like Ibic tur means this day. And here we have where letters have been cut off. When you join it together, if you say ibtur or ibitur, that means today. So you're not just talking about this day somewhere sometime. You're talking about today.
Yeah, it's not ibitur, but ibitur. Yeah, I actually
exactly.
alikote would be something of that kind, right?
Yeah, that would be,
because it uses alit and kote, which is family or clan, and on not honor,
glory,
but glory.
basically.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you have these words joined together, usually with some letters that have been cut off when they join together, just for the ease of pronunciation. And then that's when you have a Beten thrown in. It actually happens in English kind of the same way. Like when you have a conjunction, or not a conjunction, a contraction, don't or something, where you have DON apostrophe T. That little apostrophe lets you know that, hey, there's some letters missing here because two words have been squished together. And so that's a similar way it happens in Mando'a.
Right. I never thought about this. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So probably the concept itself isn't that alien.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so I mentioned before also prefixes and suffixes when you have these on words. There are some gotchas to think about here. For the most part, you don't need to use it. That's why that's rule 1. Don't. But also, if you have just like the rule we were just talking about, if you have something where there's a letter cut off, like, for example, if you are, let's say you want to say, I ate yesterday or something. For whatever reason, you want to throw the past prefix onto epa, which is eat, ni epa, I ate, or I eat. So let's say you want to say ni ru epa, I ate
eaten
sometime in the past. Yeah. When you have these two vowels, right? When you want to put ru prefix onto a verb, if it starts with a vowel, you usually just cut the u off and use the r. So you would say ni repa. and that means I ate sometime in the past. But when you have this U cut off, just like before, you put the beten there to say, hey, there's a letter that's been cut off here, and you attach it to the verb. You'll see that in the document.
I just wanted to say I would have to see that written down. So
that's one of the examples in the document. So
okay.
Download it and open it up, guys, because it'll help you. There's more explanation there than I can probably articulate.
Yeah, I think the beten is really a written concept, one could say, because you don't hear
it's more so written.
And I think the problem is with like your last example, if I just hearing it, I really can't. If I'm not super closely following, I can't imagine whatever.
Exactly.
Just, like,
exactly.
Scratch that, but yeah.
No, you're right. And so this is where really I'll skip ahead a bit on the rules. I'm not just going to read through the whole document for you guys because we'll give it to you and you can read it yourself. But let's go down and talk about when you do hear the beten, because that's where it maybe is a little more impactful, right? So essentially, any place that isn't one of the things that we already just talked about, when the beten isn't serving some other purpose, when it isn't telling you that there are letters missing, when it isn't telling you that this is a compound word, when it isn't telling you, whatever prefix or suffix has been added, one way or the other, blah, blah, blah. When the beten isn't serving any other purpose, if it's part of the word just as it is on its own, that's when, generally speaking, you hear it. A good primary example for this is in the language itself, Mando'a. If you're saying it clearly and being precise in your speech, you would pronounce it as Mando'a with the little catch in the throat before the A.
Mando'a. The word is Mando'a. Got that reference?
Is that the passwords? Was that the game show?
Nah. Simpsons. When Homer is on the nuclear U-boat. Says, that is Mr. Simpson. He's a nuclear expert. Nuclear. The word is nuclear.
Most of the time, people gloss over that beten there. They just says Mando'a. I mean, it's even in our theme song, Mando'a. Yeah, we don't even have it there. Yeah, so it's not a big deal to gloss over it, but just be aware that if you want to be very precise in your speech, then you would pronounce that beten there.
Probably kind of like the British English or like the standard Mando'a in that case would be Mando'a.
Yep, exactly. And this is something that unfortunately you just kind of have to get a feel for to know when it's a compound word or when it's a beten that's there on its own, because if you don't know the words that the compound word is made up of, then you don't know as a compound word, clearly. So the more you learn Mando'a, the easier this gets to recognize. But until then, the handy beten guide is there to help you.
I think one general rule one can throw out there is just write it as it is in the dictionary and everyone will get what you mean. So
right, yeah.
There might that say, oh, what is that extra beten doing in there? But like your first goal should be to be understood, and then your and your second goal should be to do that elegantly and be eloquent, but one after another.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we've been over it now. I guess we need to talk about homework. I would say to put together 1, 2, 3 sentences of just a simple, common greeting between Mando'a. What would that look like in your mind? Use some of these common terms to put together just a casual greeting between a couple Mando'a.
I like that.
Little written role play, yeah.
I think that's great. So, okay. That's for homework, guys. You heard it. One thing I wanted to say, now that you made it through the episode, So you earned it, basically. We hit our 100 subscribers on Spotify lately, and we never...
Oh yeah.
There we have it.
There you go.
And we never made that like an official announcement, but between the both of us, we said, if we have our 100 subscribers, we gonna do the swear like a Mando'a, like the cussing swear word, whatever episode. So look forward to that next time. I expect you all to tune in.
Spicy.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, a big thank you to our 3 patrons, Nakabanga, Eyaren, and Galacharan.
All that leaves us with is, as always, to say to you guys, Retour chez me.
Retour chez me.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.